Good morning, welcome to Sports Radio 1310 The Ticket. George D. John, Train Station Fitness Show. On the show today, Dr. Jeremy Webster and also John Sledge Hammerly. Medical reporter John Sledge Hammerly from Hammerly Productions. My friend, you have taken a turn in so many different ways in the past 2 years.
I have.
Hammerly Productions, I'm excited about.
So am I.
Because you're sticking with your genre of health and fitness. I like that. We're going to let people know where you're going here or where you're going to be in the next 6 months because I'm really excited about what you have going on, how you can help doctors, how you can help other healthcare professionals with what you're doing. You want to give a mention to it?
I will, yeah. It's, I've been in video and health for almost 30 years now, and I really think the future is on the web. So we're going to create avenues for myself and for doctors and professionals to get the word out consistently, do words out so we can keep current with as fast as things are moving.
We have, if you'd like to see this show, you can also see it on YouTube. 21-Day Body Makeover, just put it in all one word, 21-Day Body Makeover on YouTube. You can see these shows and many more over the past 6 or 8 months I've been doing this. Dr. Webster's in the studio. He's talking today about a topic I am not familiar with, so I'm going to do about as much learning as you're going to do today. We're talking about the brain and how it's testosterone. A certain part of the brain is testosterone driven. How part of it's learning where logic is involved and math is involved. Another part of the brain controls functions as far as movement or motor patterns are concerned. And then there's a question I'm going to ask you, Dr. Webster, and I just thought of it now. If you're familiar with this, when someone has damage to their brain, and we don't have to talk about it right now, and it's responsible, let's say, for speech. And then someone works with a speech pathologist and they work with other therapists to work on speech again, or whatever part of the brain that was damaged for whatever function that is. It's amazing to me how we're able to recruit, I guess the right word is, brain cells from either another area or that same area and be able to function again or function better. I would like for you to comment on that, why that happens, how it can happen, and can it happen with just about anybody? Not now, though, so we'll talk about that coming up next. We've got so much to talk about today.
You're doing a great job, George.
We're talking about why, didn't you say something about men and women suffering from different diseases or ailments?
Yeah, and we'll get into that. It's real easy to explain. We'll get into that specifically later.
So one of the reasons I mentioned YouTube and watching the show today, because Dr. Webster is going to go through some exercises that with John Hammerly to show people, I guess, when someone's off balance, one thing they can do to help with their equilibrium, if that's something you suffer with or headaches, or you want to talk about anything else that he can deal with the brain, showing you how to fix yourself, maybe not through meds, but through music or through smell.
Or through rhythm, maybe.
Or through rhythm, since some people don't have that.
Mm-hmm.
So coming up next, Dr. Webster talking about your brain, not your brain on drugs. 705 Sports Radio 1310 The Ticket. 711 Sports Radio 1310 The Ticket. George D. John on the Train Station Fitness Show. John Sledge Hammerly Productions is in the studio today.
Sir.
Medical reporter John Hammerly. And also Dr. Jeremy Webster. We're talking about your brain today. Left side of your brain, right side of your brain. Also, one of the things I would love for you to discuss is how to incorporate both sides of your brain. I know there's a technique that I learned in Super Learning 2000. There's a book called Super Learning 2000, and it teaches you different ways you can learn. Especially, one of the really cool things was when you deal with hearing loss at a young age. I don't know if you're familiar with this or not. They say that people who go to concerts and stuff and listen to very loud music have trouble hearing higher frequencies. Their hearing is degrading at a young age. And one of the things they do, instead of treating, use that word loosely, your ear to help you hear better, they do something with your brain. And your brain teaches your ear. You actually relearns. Are you familiar with that?
Not specifically what you're talking about.
You might want to check out that book, Super Learning 2000. They have all these different studies in there. It's not a book with stories and everything. There's a lot of studies. And I actually did a couple of them. Remember the underwater thing?
Yeah.
It's really cool stuff. So let's talk about the brain today. It's all new to me. It'll be new to many people, I'm sure. You said in the notes that you sent me, the left brain facts. Let's talk about your left brain. What are some of the facts of your left brain, and why do we care?
Well, because most people don't have a perfectly balanced brain from side to side. A lot of people have an overdriven left brain versus their right brain.
Is that it? Could that be a good thing, where someone is actually functioning and very, very successful in an area of their life because of that asymmetrical balance, if you will?
Yeah, absolutely. There are a lot of people, for instance, who are or maybe an engineer or somebody in a very logical type of field. They need a more of a dominant left brain. In fact, they probably went into that field because they have a dominant left brain, and everything they've done since they went to college and started working in that field has further kind of caused their brain to become more and more imbalanced.
So, silly question, but I'd like to ask anyway. What happens if they listen to this show and they gain balance in their brain? Do they suffer in some way?
Not necessarily. It's probably good overall for their health.
I don't think that was too compelling and convincing for someone wanting to, right, John, to get on board with wanting to help their brain.
No. You want to have a balanced brain. What they've done is they've probably enhanced the function of their left brain so much that it's just dominating their right brain.
Yeah.
And they could suffer some consequences because the right brain is functioning so poorly in comparison or in contrast to the left brain.
Is that what they mean when they say somebody is type A personality? I mean, is that more left brain than right brain?
Yeah, it is. The type A, the real driven type of people tend to be the left brain. Left brain has some of the things that the left brain has to do with is drive and motivation and just responding and taking action. People who are right brain dominant tend to think about their problems more than act on their problems.
Okay.
They tend to be the worrier.
So since we know that I'm more left brain dominant, if I were to be more balanced, does it take some of my drive and motivation away? Because I don't want to sit home and suck on my thumb and worry about things.
No. It's not really like that. You're not gonna lose some of the good aspects of your left brain just because you bring your right brain
so
up
it enhances
into
you.
balance.
And if I'm more right brain dominant, am I more creative?
Yeah, typically. Yeah, that.
Well, that's just odd to me because I'm extremely creative, but I'm also very, very driven. So
That
what
means
does
you've
that
got a balanced brain, man.
Well, not necessarily. I went to Webster's office. He tested me about fell over. He pushed on me with one finger because one of the tests that we did. But it was really cool, some of the things he suggested that I do. So testosterone-driven left brain facts is one of them. What does that mean?
It just means that that there's more receptors for testosterone, and the left brain responds more to testosterone than does the right brain. The right brain responds more to estrogen than the left brain does. So that's why most men, if you had to put all men in one category and all women in one category in another category, men tend to be left brain dominant, at least at an early age.
Yeah.
And when I say tend to, I don't mean 100%. There are men who are 25 years old who are right brain dominant, but it's a low percentage. More men are left brain dominant, more women are right brain dominant, because we have a higher level of testosterone than do women, and so therefore our left brains automatically get ramped up, as opposed to women where their right brain gets ramped up. So if you look in fields like physics or engineering, what do you see? You don't see a lot of women in these fields. You see a small percentage because there's a small percentage of women who are left brain dominant.
And they also have very low voices.
And then if you look at other fields like the arts, if you look at artists, even though there's a lot of men in the arts, there's more women would tend to go toward art or music or something like that, more of a creative type field, because they just naturally, they're naturally good at it, I guess you could say.
So it's not necessarily that the estrogen is a fuel for creativity, but it fuels the part of the brain that is creative.
Well, you could say it either way, yeah.
We don't know.
Since they have higher levels of estrogen, the right brain functions higher naturally, which is kind of where those seeds of creativity lie.
Yeah.
So for my entire life, I've dealt with dyslexia, and I got a D in general math because my teachers liked me. Okay, everything, and nobody picked up that I was dyslexic when I was in school. And I notice here that part of the left brain deals with math and logic. Had I had a good diet, as a kid, I ate everything in the world. And had I worked on some of the things you'll share with us today about our brain, could that have made a significant difference in my life?
Well, yeah, absolutely. We talk about nutrition and and diet and regular lifestyle and fitness and those things all the time,